Water shapes our world. Life as we know it cannot exist without water, at least not for an extended period of time. And yet too much water can be an impediment to survival as well. Water management is critical to sustainable, healthy landscapes, particularly in an increasingly challenging environment. Ben Franklin once said, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." Well, the same is true of water management. Poor water management leads to declining landscapes, higher expenses, and potentially lost business. But don't worry, our experts are here to help.
Hi, I'm Mark Jackson, Water Management Consultant for the Davie Institute. In this 5-part series, Water Specialists will share with you how water impacts the landscapes that we care for. Join us and discover water use efficiency methods that will help improve your landscape while actually using less water. Welcome back to Session 3 of our series on water stewardship. Today, environmental consultant from the Davie Resource Group, Becca Straight, will be speaking on stormwater management and why it matters on our properties and landscapes. Let's get our feet wet. Please join Becca.
Hi everyone, I'm Becca Straight with Davie Resource Group. I'd like to discuss with you today stormwater facility management and why it's important for our personal lives and for the environment. Stormwater is defined as water from precipitation. Much of that water as it falls is absorbed by the surrounding vegetation, the soils, and is directed into our stormwater management facilities. Typically, these facilities are designed to directly capture the stormwater before it enters water resources such as streams and wetlands, or before it directly goes into storm sewers. This is by design so that the stormwater management facility can treat that water so that pollutants drop out before they reach those resources. Properly maintained stormwater management facilities are designed to take runoff directly, and this allows them to hold back pollutants such as fertilizers, oil, and litter from draining directly into our water resources and directly into storm sewers after rain events. By holding back these pollutants, those sediments and pollutants are able to drop out of the water, and then the water drains through the facility and either directly into water resources or directly into storm sewers in our neighborhoods. Since our stormwater management facilities filter out these pollutants before they reach vital areas and vital resources, it's important to ensure that these areas are well maintained. Typical maintenance includes ensuring that the side slopes and areas surrounding the management facilities are well vegetated, and that you've instituted a no-mow zone around the very shoreline of the facility. Additionally, the area should be inspected routinely for invasive species. If invasive species are present, those areas should be treated with herbicide in order to ensure that those species do not become thick monocultures that take over the entire management facility. The reason why we don't like monocultures and we don't promote these invasive species taking over is because they can promote mosquitoes in your facility, which is not something that I want to live next to, and they can also choke out native wildlife, as they also choke out native vegetation in the management facilities. Simple, routine tasks such as creating a no-mow zone around your infrastructure, treating and removing invasive vegetation routinely, and ensuring that areas surrounding the stormwater management facilities are always well vegetated can go a long way in reducing the overall maintenance costs for your stormwater infrastructure. These tasks also greatly help the water quality in our local communities and surrounding developments. Now I'd like to show you some examples of some things that need maintenance, so that you have a good idea of things that should routinely be taken care of in some of these stormwater management facilities. Today I'm at a wet stormwater basin, and as you can see behind me there's a fountain, which is great because it helps aerate and it helps to reduce some of the algae buildup that can occur in these basins. This in front of me is an example of some bare soil on a slope. This is something that you want to address, and you want to address it sooner rather than later, because these areas can begin to erode and add excess sediment to your basin. They can also start to dig out holes, rills, and gullies in your side slope, and that can cause extensive, expensive damage in your slopes. Another simple maintenance task that you can implement quite easily is what we refer to as a no-mow zone. And right now I'm standing in the no-mow zone for this basin. It's something that can be quickly and easily implemented right away to help with erosion issues at stormwater management facilities such as this wet basin. And the no-mow zone is simply that. It's an area that we encourage not to be mowed. If it has to be mowed, we like to say mow once, maybe twice per year, and at no shorter than 4 inches height. And this just allows some extra stabilization at the base of this slide slope before it reaches the shoreline and reaches the main basin itself. Additionally, you'll see next to me I have some native rushes, which are some great native vegetation that we want to encourage growing in this facility. And then we also have some invasive narrowleaf cattail behind me here. So that's the vegetation that you'd want to treat and remove from your basin or other stormwater management facility. That's what can fill the whole thing and become that monoculture and cause other issues, clogging, mosquitoes, things like that. Additionally, you can see that in this area, the vegetation extends nicely down the slope and it's well vegetated and you don't see any erosion. But as you look to my right, you can see that the vegetation and the slope drops off very abruptly, and you can see that we have some erosion starting up the hill. Those are the kinds of things that we want to avoid. And as we promote this no-mow zone around the entirety of this basin, areas such as that are going to start to get better. As I mentioned previously, areas of bare soil such as this one can lead to additional maintenance issues and concerns. And sometimes, if these are let go for quite a long time, they can become more costly. So this is a great example of an area that needs to be revegetated, so it's what we would call bare soil. And the water, the way that it's draining off of this is draining over to this area, and you can see the vegetation changes, and I'm going to stick my boot down in so you can see the difference. That there's actually an erosional rill right here in this area, so you can kind of see my foot sinks down a little bit. And so this is another area of concern from this area of bare soil that we would want to remediate as soon as possible. And the easiest way for us to do that is to come in and fill and revegetate over top of it. When it's this small, it's considered a rill and it's fairly easy to fix and not as expensive to fix. But left untreated and left unremediated, it can become an expensive hole basically in your side slope.